So number 2, the average student loan debt for college graduates is $25,650. Suppose that the distribution is normal and that the standard deviation is $13,550. Let X equal the student loan debt of a randomly selected college graduate. Round all probabilities to 4 decimal places and all dollar answers to the nearest dollar. What is the distribution of X? Okay, so the first thing we do is, remember, they just want us to put in the mean here and the standard deviation. So what's the mean? That's the average. Average or mean, same thing. So that's going to be 25,650. Don't put any commas, because you have to put the comma. Well, there's already a built-in comma. Yes, so I don't think they want any commas. The standard deviation to be 13,550. So give them the mean, which is the same as the average, and the standard deviation. Next, part B. Find the probability that the college graduate has between 13,000, we're down here, 13,100 and 20,200 in student loan debt. So they're saying the average student loan debt for college grads is $25,000. That's the average amount of money they owe when they graduate college. So this is normally distributed. Standard is that. Okay, so how are we going to find the probability? So we need to draw it. Again, it's all about the drawing. Please don't skip this step. This will help you. Let's draw what it is they're saying. So come down here. Draw it. Okay, there's my, and put right in the middle the average. What's the average? Well, right there, 25,650. That's a lot of money. That's an average student loan debt. That's big. So 25,650, that's the average student loan debt. Okay, that goes in the middle. Now, what is it they're asking me for? Let's go to the question. They're asking me, find the probability, which is 8%. They want me to find the percentage between 13,100 and 20,200. Now, those two numbers, 13,000 and 20,000, are they to the right of the 25,000, or are they to the left of the 25,000?
To the left.
Yeah, because they're smaller, huh? Right. So it doesn't matter exactly where you put them. I'll just make up spots. But it is important that you know it's somewhere to the left. It's between 13,100 and 20,200. It's a chunk of the curve to the left. And they want between. Do you see why I shaded in the middle? Because they said between. So I shaded between.
Can, for mine, it says 22, and then my mean is 25,000. And then the other number that they give is $34,000.
Yeah, so yours will go like over to here, because the 34 is to the right. And so you would shade all this between those two.
Okay.
So yours would go over the middle. Yeah, so just put down the numbers wherever they really are on the curve. So if they give you numbers to the right of the middle, put them to the right of the middle. If they give you numbers to the left, put them to the left. Yeah, they could give it any which way. They could have made my other number 34,000. And then I would have went over here and put 34,000, and I would have shaded all the way to 34,000. So you just shade between the left and the right numbers. Between the left and the right numbers. Is that good? So now we're going to go to our calculator. We're going to do the normal CDF, right? That's what the formula sheet here, what formula sheet's up here? That's what the formula sheet tells us, is that when they're asking for a percentage, they're asking for a percentage. You do normal CDF, left, right, mean, standard. Normal CDF, left, right, mean, standard. So here we go. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do normal CDF And again, it's left, right, mean, standard. And so what is the left? The left is the 13,100, right? That's the left edge of the shading. So whenever we talk about left and right, we mean the left and the right. Here's the left, here's the right edge of the piece that's shaded. So the left edge is 13,100. The right edge is 20,200. The mean, for me, my mean, is 25,650, and my standard is 13,550. So those are the numbers I would have to put in to my calculator. And if you have the newer kind that asks lower, upper, mu, and sigma, it's the same four numbers. It's the same four. Lower just means the left edge. Upper just means the right edge. This is mean, and this is standard. So it's the same four numbers in the same order. Type those in and get your answer. Is that good so far? Now I want to move on to part C, because that part's going to be more tricky. Part C asks for the middle 30%. That's more tricky. So I'm going to, maybe I'll come down here. I'm going to add a fresh page so we have some room here. So, okay. So middle 30%. So question 2, part C. Middle 30%. Between what two numbers? Okay, so, and again, my mean, what's my mean? Well, here, let me draw the bell curve again and give the mean. Mean and the standard. What was the mean? 25,650 for mine. And the standard deviation, 13,550. Okay, so let's draw it. It's not such a good curve. Not very good at drawing those. I keep wanting to do a little bit better. All right, a little better, I guess. Okay, so there we go. So put the middle on. The middle is the mean, 25,650. Okay, now to their question. They want the middle 30%. So that means we're going to put a couple of lines, boom and boom. Back that up a little bit. Maybe there. Good enough, whatever. And we're saying this is 30%. Are you with me so far? That's the middle 30%, right? That's so the picture is absolutely essential. Don't try to do this without drawing the picture. You need the picture. So we have the middle 30%, and on that picture. Now, what are we going to do on our calculator? They are clearly giving us a percentage, right? They're giving us 30% in the middle, aren't they? So go back to the formula sheet I gave you for number 6, and it says when they give you a percentage already. So that's clearly what we're talking about. So we're going to use inverse norm, aren't we? Inverse norm, area left, mean standard. Okay, so I'm on the wrong page here. Here we go. Area left mean standard. So I'm going to do exactly that. So inverse norm, and it's going to be area, back this up a little bit, area to the left, mean standard. Now we know what the mean and the standard are. The trick is, the hard part for people is getting the area to the left. So y'all tracking with me on this one? How do I get the area to the left? What I specifically mean is this area, right? This is area to the left. What area of the curve is to the left? Because what we want to do is we want to find these two spots. They're asking us for the two spots. Do you understand what they want us to find? These two numbers.
What does the picture tell you about how the people are feeling? Look at the illustration.
All right. So we're looking for finding those two values, and want to find out exactly what those two spots are. Is this making sense so far? So the average student comes out with $25,650 of student loans. That's a lot to pay back. That's the average student loan. But not everybody's exactly average. They're saying, hey, how about the middle 30% of all college graduates? What are the two numbers around that mark out the middle 30% of college students and their student loans? You know, from where to where? Is it like, I'm going to guess, maybe 21,000 to 28,000? You know, it's got to be something lower than 25,000 to higher than 20. It's got to be lower than the middle to higher than the middle, right? So maybe I'm just guessing right now. I just want to give you a feel for what we're trying to find. Maybe it's from 21,000 to 28,000. I don't know. Just totally guessing. So somewhere below 25, from somewhere below the middle to somewhere above the middle is going to mark out the middle 30% of all college graduates and how much student loan debt they have. All right, so how do we find this? Well, we use our calculator, we use inverse norm, and we have to do area to the left. So what is the area to, if you have 30% in the middle, here's the $1 million question. What is area to the left?
35%.
Yes, good job. How did you figure that out?
Minus 30 from 100, and I got 70, and then I divided 70 by 2.
Genius. Exactly. Excellent. Yes, let me write out what was just said because it was beautiful. Exactly. So what you do is you take 100%, whoop, I'm in the wrong tool. That's why that's looking so weird. There we go. 100% minus 30% equals 70%, right? So in other words, if 30% has been chunked out of the middle, that's 30% remain, 70% remains, right? If you chunk 30% out of the middle, that leaves 70% remains, but then you got to divide that by 2 because that's in 2 equal parts, isn't it? So divide that by 2 and that would be 35%. So that means this is 35%. That wasn't, let me get rid of my writing in that area because it's not going to work to just write that on the top. So this has got to be 35%, and this has got to be 35. That accounts for the whole 100%, doesn't it? Everybody see that? See how that's right now? 35 is 70, and 30 is 100. That's how the percentages break up. Okay, great. So now when we're trying to find this section, which is what? Which is left of this spot. Everybody tracking with me? So area to the left of this spot right here is 0.35, isn't it? And then you just put in the mean and the standard. My mean is 25,650. My standard is 13,550, and you hit the buttons on your calculator, and you will get the left spot. Now we've got to get the right spot. How do we get the spot on the right? We do the same thing again. Do the same thing again. Let me draw a line here. And so we have to do inverse norm twice. Inverse norm again. Inverse norm again. And what is area to the left? So now we're doing it for the second spot. Everybody see that? So you're going to have to do inverse norm twice. Once to find the left spot. This is the first time. This is the second time. So to find the second spot, what is the area to the left of the second spot? What is all this area, which is to the left of the second spot?
65.
Yeah, you got to add those up. It's 0.65, isn't it? So you're telling the calculator, hey, calculator, give me the spot that has 65% of the area to the left of it, please. And it'll tell you. And put in the mean and the standard. And you'll get your two answers. That's how we get our two answers on this question. Then the mean will be the same. 25,650. Standard deviation is the same. 13,550. Hit the buttons on your calculator. Does that make sense? So you have to draw out the percentages. That's why the drawing is so important. If you had to put the 30% in the middle, that's what they told me, and then I had to subtract from 100, 70% remain, divide by 2, 35% for each of those sections, and then I had to do the inverse norm twice, right? I had to do inverse norm twice. So first time here, did inverse norm, and the area to the left was 0.35, and then I had to do inverse norm again the second time to find this spot, right? So we had the two different times, right? The second time I used the 0.65 is the area to the left of the second spot. And so that's how we do that. Questions on this one?
Can you go over like what you just said about like having to do it twice?
Yeah. So it's all about having to do it twice on the inverse norm. Yeah, so in fact, it might even be nice just to say it one more time. So, so it's all about the normal curve. So you want to have a good drawing on the normal curve. And then right in the middle is whatever. For me, it was 25,650. And then they tell you middle 30%. So you have to draw this and say there's 30% in the middle. So then we've got to find the two outside. So we take 100% minus 30, and we get 70% for the two outside regions, right? That leaves 70% for the two outside regions. And so then I take the 70% and I divide it by 2, and I get 35% for each outside region. So then I go up here and I go, oh, okay. So this is 35% and this is 35%. Notice how we always put percentages up in the curve. These numbers up here are always percentages, and the numbers down here are not. See the 25,650? He's not a percentage. He's just a normal dollar amount. That's how it'll always be on these problems. The numbers up in the curve are always percentages. Okay, and so now to find the two spots, what are we going to do? So here's the first spot. So inverse norm. Oops. Inverse norm. And then it says area left. So for the first spot, what is the area to the left for the first spot? How much of the curve is left of the first spot? 0.35, right? Isn't that the area of the curve to the left of the first spot? And then you go on to the second spot, which is right here, right? We're trying to get the two sides of the 30%. That's what they asked us. Find the two sides of the 30% for the middle 30%. And so then you got to do inverse norm again. And this time when you do area left of the second spot, what's it going to be? Well, how much area is to the left of the second spot? All of this area is left of the second spot, isn't it? So it's going to be 0.30 plus 0.35. In other words, 0.65 is the area to the left of the second spot. And so that's what you got to type in, and then the mean and the standard, and hit the buttons on your calculator. So that's how we find the two edges of the 30%.
Mr. Herring,
Uh-huh.
I did both of those, and it told me that both of the answers were wrong.
We can help you afterwards. There might be a small mistake.
If you put in, for the last one on C, if you put in the decimals, it's going to mark it as wrong. You have to do it as whole numbers.
Oh, did it say whole numbers?
Well, that it wouldn't accept my decimals, and then I clicked to do
you're
show
right.
answer, and
See
they're
what
whole
it says
numbers.
right here? It's always like a contract. You got to read the fine print. See that right there? All dollar answers to the nearest dollar. In other words, no decimals, please. So yeah, these are dollar answers. You're right. So you have to put these in, no decimals. Because they're dollar answers, right? See the dollar signs? They're money amounts. They want you to round them to the nearest whole number of dollars. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. All dollar amounts to the nearest dollar, meaning no decimals.
So if the first decimal is over 5, do we round it up?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Exactly. Good clarification. Thank you. So any other questions on this is making sense then? How we find the middle, the spots around the middle 30%. We always have to calculate the area. We have to use inverse norm on our calculator twice, and both times, never use inverse norm, you got to give it the area to the left. So that would be 0.35 is the area to the left of the first spot, and 0.65 is the area to the left of the second spot. That is, unless you have one of the brand new TI-84s, that allows you to just put in right if you want. You can just tell it right is 35. You know, if you have one of those that gives you the tail option, then you can do right, left, center. You can just do whatever you want. You don't have to do so much calculation. Just say, hey, 35% in the right tail, please, and boom, it'll give you the second spot that quick. You don't have to mess around. But for us with the older kind, we always have to calculate area to the left for any spot that we want to find.